This presentation is a case study in an evidence-based intervention that will be used for Aiden. And Aiden is an 8th grade male student in a rural high school in North Dakota. His grade consists of 12 students, 10 boys, and 2 girls. Recently there was an incident in the locker room during physical education class. Aiden doesn't feel comfortable changing in front of his peers, so he changes in the shower stall in the locker room. While he was changing, other boys in the class started throwing dirty towels over the top of the stall. Aiden got frustrated and angry at the boys and started yelling at them, which made them throw more dirty towels in the stall. When Aiden came out of the stall, another student, Chuck, who has a hearing impairment, told Aiden if he would stop yelling, maybe the boys would stop. Aiden then proceeded to kick Chuck and ran out of the locker room crying. After the incident, I had Aiden come into my office, and he was crying so hard he could barely talk. So I gave Aiden some time to calm down and told him when he was ready to talk, I would be there to listen. It took about 10 minutes for Aiden to compose himself, and we talked about what happened. Aiden finally started talking and explained that he hates all the students in the class and that every day he is teased and bullied. He explained that he is always the brunt of their jokes and no one ever sticks up for him. He also explained that him and Chuck are sometimes friends, but usually Chuck gets on his nerves. And he hates how he's always partnered with Chuck in classes, especially in classes where teachers tell him that, or tell the class that they can pick their own partners for projects. So what I did is I first spoke with Aiden's teachers, and many of the teachers alluded that Aiden doesn't understand social boundaries. He often invades other people's personal space, and they said that he likes to steal other people's items in the class, such as pencils and notebooks, and hide them. And he finds it very funny to watch them get all frustrated and angry, while the other students find it annoying, especially those students whose things were stolen. Teachers also talked about how Aiden can get on their nerves as well. For instance, if he comes up to their desk and asks a question, they'll say, "I will help you in a minute," and he stands there and waits instead of sitting down. If a teacher asks him to sit down, he becomes annoyed and irritated, almost like the teacher should have dropped everything they are doing to be with him. They also talked about how if a teacher is working with another student, he often interrupts their conversation when the teacher asks him that to sit down and the teacher will be with them next. The same thing happens. He becomes annoyed and irritated. Many of the teachers also spoke about how Aiden is the brunt of many jokes and is picked on by the other classmates. The teachers did indicate that when they saw this behavior, they did stop it in their classroom. They also reported that Aiden tends to pick on another student in class, Chuck. Many of the teachers said Aiden and Chuck are almost outsiders in the class and always seem to be partners with each other during class activities, especially those where the students get to pick their own partners. And they said Aiden almost takes on a bully role with Chuck. And this was interviewing 7 different teachers at the rural high school in North Dakota. I also decided to contact Aiden's former elementary school counselor, Mr. Nelson, and he said picking on Aiden has been an ongoing problem in class since he started school. Ever since kindergarten, he has been bullied by his peers. Aiden occasionally takes on the bully role as well, and he loves to tattle on his classmates. Mr. Nelson said whenever there's a chance for Aiden to tattle on his classmates, he will. Mr. Nelson When I asked Mr. Nelson what he has done about this bullying, he said he gave classroom guidance lessons on bullying and treating other people with respect. When asked what type of program he used, Mr. Nelson said he didn't use any particular program. Instead, it was more of a classroom-based discussion with him and the students. He also talked about how he has had many one-on-one conversations with Aiden and other students in the class, but Aiden never was able to identify himself as a bully. He has always played the victim card, as Mr. Nelson stated. And when I asked Mr. Nelson if these one-on-one counseling conversations were ongoing or like a one-time basis, he said it would be a one-time basis when something would happen with Aiden and another student. So what shall I do? I researched evidence-based practices for emotional and behavior disorders, and that was written by Walker and Gresham, and this indicated there are different roles you can play as a bully. Well, play in a bullying situation. You have the perpetrator, which is the bully, the victim, which is who's being bullied, and the bystander. And a bystander is someone in a bullying situation who sees the bullying going on and is there for it, but doesn't do anything at all. And they also talked about how there is also a role of the bully victim. And a bully victim is a person who engages in bullying, but also finds themselves as victims of bullying as well. So in this situation, we would say that Aiden is a bully victim because he is a victim of bullying, but he also bullies himself. When it talked about physical and relational aggression, they talked about 4 different types of interventions. There is the individual, group, classroom-based guidance lesson, and school-wide intervention. And when Walker and Gresham talked about individual interventions, they said sometimes it is not enough and that multiple level interventions may be needed, especially when you're talking about a victim. You have to somehow get that bully to understand that what they've done isn't right. So in this case, we're going to talk about individual and school-wide interventions for this situation, both focusing on different things. So my individual intervention will be with Aiden, and during this time we're going to work on his social skills to learn how to properly interact with his peers and teachers. I will see Aiden once per week for one-on-one counseling to work on his social skills. And we will follow the Social Skills Intervention Guide, which is an evidence-based social skill instruction program designed by Frank Gresham and Stephen Elliott. And this is for students kindergarten through 12th grade. And in the Social Skills Intervention Guide, it has 20 instructional units that cover the following social skill domains: communication, cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, engagement, and self-control. And we'll learn about all those different social domains in a little bit. This guide also includes resources that support instruction and tools to monitor program effectiveness and student progress. A resource disc is also included, and this includes skill cue cards, notes to parents, letters to parents, progress forms, intervention integrity forms, certificates of completion, and video clip index. So social domains. Aiden is very isolated from his classmates. Teaching him to understand and implement the social skills domains will help him better interact with both his classmates and teachers. Learning about and understanding all the domains will be crucial in Aiden's success. The following slides give a brief overview of each domain. Communication. Communication is the act or process of conveying or swapping thoughts, opinions, or information by speech, writing, or signs. And included in this, we'll talk about verbal communication and nonverbal communication. Cooperation, the act or instance of working or acting together for a common purpose. More or less active assistance from a person, willingness to help or work together. And we'll learn about teamwork, partnership, and collaboration. Assertion, a positive statement or declaration, often without support or reason. An act of sticking up for oneself or for what is right. And this includes clear and firm statements and affirmation. Responsibility, the ability to make moral or rational decisions on one's own and to be answerable for one's behavior, the quality or state of being trustworthy or dependable. And we'll talk about being reliable, being trustworthy, and being accountable. Empathy is the identification with or understanding of another's situation, feelings, thoughts, attitudes, or motives. The ability to imagine how another person is feeling and to understand his or her mood. This is compassion, understanding, and kindness. Engagement, the act of involving someone in an activity, involving oneself or becoming occupied, the act of sharing in the activities or group. And this is participation and involvement. Self-control, control or restraint of oneself or one's actions or feelings. The ability to control one's emotions and remain calm when feeling angry, afraid, excited, or upset. And this includes poise, level-headedness, and self-restraint. And although I find all these domains very important, and me and Aiden will work on these during our individual sessions, I find that responsibility, empathy, and self-control will be the domains that he needs most improvement on. And when I say this, it's because it's indicated that Aiden hasn't taken responsibility for his actions, especially when stealing things from his peers. And empathy is when he doesn't understand how his peers feel when he does those tasks. And self-control, it seems like Aiden gets very upset when he doesn't get his way. So for instance, when teachers cannot help him right away or they're working with another student, Aiden becomes very upset and frustrated. So his self-control will need quite a bit of work. So before I begin one-on-one counseling sessions with Aiden, I will contact his parents or guardians to establish a relationship with them and get to consent to do one-on-one counseling for a longer period of time. My first interaction will be a phone call, and I would like this first interaction to just kind of give them an overview of the situation, what happened in the locker room, and kind of get their point of view on the situation and Aiden. I will have to talk to them about starting social skills training with Aiden, and I'll also talk about how in the future I would like to implement the capsule program in the school, and how I believe all students will benefit from the program. This conversation, I want to be very calm, and I want it to be a conversation where me and the parents are working together to try to establish a relationship and establish a program for Aiden that can make him successful. I'll also discuss the confidentiality of my relationship with Aiden during our one-on-one sessions, and I will tell them things that I will not be able to discuss with them and things I will be able to discuss with them. If they agree to the one-on-one counseling, I will be sending them a consent form and an overview letter in the mail, and I'll tell them that I will not be able to start the counseling until that consent form has been signed and returned to me. where you can get the materials for this. The Social Skills Intervention Guide can be found online, and on Amazon.com it's currently selling for $69.95, and included in this PowerPoint is the link to that book. So now, I've talked about my individual intervention with Aiden, and now we're going to talk about a school-wide intervention called CAPSULE. And CAPSULE is creating a peaceful learning environment. CAPSULE isn't an anti-bullying program. Instead, it's a program designed to improve the capacity of students to interpret their own behaviors with greater self-reflection and mentally appreciate the beliefs, wishes, and feelings of others. Instead of separating the at-risk students into special programs, like a lot of anti-bullying programs do, we have all the students together, and they'll learn physical, mental, and emotional techniques for channeling aggressive impulses, as well as self-protection. And CAPSULE gives each student the tools for solving conflicts at school and home, and teaches them better coping skills. And then this intervention is built on a social systems model that views aggressive social skills behavior as being created and mutually reinforced by triadic social interaction. And this includes the aggressor or the perpetrator, or as what we've called before, the bully. You have your victim, and then your bystander. And remember, before we said the bystander is in a physical or relational aggressive situation where they're seeing this aggressive behavior going on, but they don't do anything about it. And this program aims to transform the bystander into natural leaders who speak up and intervene in instances of aggression. And CAPSULE is not meant to be something that will change behavior right away. You will see some behavior change, but it really takes about 3 to 5 years for schools to see this program implemented and working flawlessly. And I shouldn't say flawlessly, but working like a well-oiled machine, I guess. And research indicates that CAPSULE does work, but research has also only been done in elementary school, although the program is designed for K through 12 students. And we have different roles in CAPSULE, and these are the main roles. We have our principal, and it is so important for our principal to get on board with this intervention, because if our principal is not on board, we won't be able to implement the program. And the principal must be knowledgeable about the philosophy and all components of the program. And his or her primary responsibility is to oversee the implementation of the program and assist in modeling appropriate behaviors and language. And the classroom teacher creates a comfortable climate for learning in the classroom and uses the discipline plan found in the PDF manual that I will give you a link to at the end of this presentation. Then you have your school counselor, who facilitates and monitors the program by monitoring the school climate through discipline referrals, student resource team referrals, and teacher and parent input. And then your physical education teacher teaches the Gentle Warrior program, which encourages respect for self and others, compassion, and self-esteem. And CAPSULE has 3 specific goals. Number 1 is instilling self-esteem, respect, and compassion in students through the acquisition of social and physical skills and philosophies derived in part from martial arts. 2 is making students, parents, and all staff aware of the bullying, victim, bystander, power dynamics so that they can quickly recognize them in their own interactions with others. And 3 is giving students tools for solving conflicts in non-physical ways and teaching them to utilize better and more effective coping skills. 10 basic elements of CAPSULE. We have structured classroom discussions. This is the first thing that's going to happen. And during the first semester of school, lectures and class discussions are held for all grades. Zero tolerance for bullying, being a bystander, and being a victim. Students will participate in poster making contests. Posters should reinforce social and physical skills and self-awareness. Key messages should be that the school will no longer tolerate bullying behavior. Winning posters will be displayed around the school. Peace flag banners. Schools will purchase a flag to fly outside the school, indicating anti-bullying. Well, I shouldn't say anti-bullying, but being more self-aware. Each classroom will develop a banner or flag to display in the hallway by their classroom. Reinforcement programs. This is a program that offers other tangible items to reinforce the changes that are taking place at the school. And this could be buttons, refrigerator magnets, stickers, patches, t-shirts, notes to parents, or another reward or reminder. Gentle Warrior lessons are a 12-week Gentle Warrior program that can be conducted as part of the regular physical education program. Older student leaders are and then we have our peer mentor program, where older student peer leaders are selected to work as mentors with younger students. So if you're implementing this in a K-12 school, you'll see your high school students are going to be mentors for your younger students. And if you're implementing this in a 7th through 12th grade school, like this one, you'll have your older students, like your seniors, mentoring for your younger students, like your 7th and 8th graders. Bruno program is an adult volunteer members selected from within the community to assist in the resolution of children's power struggles. The Honor Patrol is consisted of older students who have completed the Gentle Warriors training and is formed to assist Bruno volunteers. And then once a semester, parents can be involved in what's called the Family Power Struggle Workshops, and this helps them learn to have better effective coping skills and deal with power struggles reflected in different types of families. And these could be divorced families, single parent families, all different types of families. And then monthly capsule meetings will be between those supervisors, such as your principal, your teachers, your school counselor, and the supervisors of your Gentle Warriors and peer mentoring program. And this just discusses the progress of the program. So it seems like capsule has a bunch of different things that need to be implemented to make it successful. And that's why this program really will take a few years to implement, but the sooner you implement it, the sooner you'll see results and less discipline referrals. But where you can get materials, you can get the full training manual for creating this capsule program in your school at this link right here. You can also look at the NREPP, which is an evidence-based program that gives a little bit more in-depth research on the capsule program. With this, there's a few ethics questions that should be discussed. I've put 3 here, and one of them is, for one-on-one counseling with Aiden, at what point would you contact the parents? Number 2, what type of follow-up should be done with Aiden parents once the counseling has begun? And especially we need to talk about confidentiality there. What type of things can we tell the parents without breaking our confidentiality with Aiden? And also, when implementing the school-wide capsule program, do you inform parents and the community? If so, how? Our next slide shows my references. The first one is the Social Skill Intervention Guide, which is practical strategies for social skills training, and that helped in the one-on-one counseling with Aiden. The next one is the National Registry of Evidence-Based Programs and Practices, and that's where I found the capsule program. And the third one is actually the capsule program manual. It's about 135 pages, and this manual is essential for those people who are leading this this training, and that would be your principal, your teachers, and your school counselors. It is imperative that they read that whole manual so they understand what is being implemented in the school. And then we have the Handbook of Evidence-Based Practices for Emotional and Behavioral Disorders, Applications in School. And this helped me in my research finding out what types of interventions I should implement in my case study of Aiden. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I look forward to your feedback. Thank you.